Russia's intelligence service named the bases, listed the coordinates, and warned that NATO membership would not protect Latvia from what it called just retribution. Latvia's foreign minister responded in 3 words: Russia lies again. But with a government already fallen and NATO directly in Russia's crosshairs, the Baltic region has never felt this close to the edge. NATO is now being pulled directly into Russia's drone war accusations. Russia's Foreign Intelligence Service has made a pointed accusation. Latvia's foreign minister needed just 3 words to respond. Russia's SVR has claimed that Ukrainian forces from the unmanned systems forces have already been deployed to 5 Latvian military bases, including Adazi, Lielvarde, and Daugavpils, in preparation for a series of drone strikes against targets deep inside Russia. The agency said Ukraine had persuaded Riga to approve the operation, calculating that the exact launch sites would be difficult to detect. It added, in language that read as a direct threat, that the coordinates of decision-making centres on Latvian territory were well known, and that NATO membership would not shield those involved from what it called just retribution. Moscow also claimed its reconnaissance systems would be capable of identifying drone launch sites even if the attacks were carried out from Latvian territory. Latvian Foreign Minister Baiba Braže denied the claims made by Moscow.
Russia lies again. This time it is the SVR, running a disinformation campaign against Latvia. Latvia does not provide airspace for attacks on Russia. That has been explained several times to Russian representatives.
Latvian President Edgars Rinkēvičs backed the denial, saying Russia was lying about Latvia allowing its airspace or territory to be used for strikes against Russia or any other country.
Russia is lying about Latvia allowing any country to use Latvian airspace and territory to launch attacks against Russia or any other country.
The claim is not the first of its kind. Russian authorities have repeatedly asserted that the Baltic states provide air corridors for Ukrainian drones targeting Russian territory. The Baltic defense ministries have consistently rejected this, attributing drone incursions into their airspace to Russian electronic warfare jamming Ukrainian navigation systems. Ukraine's foreign ministry spokesperson Georgy Tykhy also refuted the Russian allegations of Kyiv planning an attack from Latvia.
There is no truth in Moscow's latest set of falsehoods accusing Ukraine of preparing attacks against Russia from the territory of Latvia. We officially refute them. Ukraine does not use the territory or airspace of Latvia in its operations against Russia and does not intend to do so. Russian lies are merely an extension of its broader propaganda campaign aimed at destabilizing public opinion in Latvia and the wider Baltics. We thank our Latvian friends for seeing right through them.
The issue has carried serious domestic consequences for Latvia. After several Ukrainian drones strayed into Latvian airspace in early May, the incidents triggered a government crisis that ended in the resignation of the Latvian government. Now, with Moscow directly accusing a NATO state of enabling attacks against Russian territory, the confrontation around the Baltic region appears to be entering a far more dangerous phase. The week ended as it began, with sirens, fires, and bodies. According to President Volodymyr Zelensky, Russia unleashed one of its heaviest aerial bombardments of the war over the past 7 days alone. More than 3,170 attack drones, 1,300 guided aerial bombs, and 74 missiles, most of them ballistic, struck Ukrainian cities within a single week. 52 civilians were killed. Another 346 people were wounded, including 22 children. Then came the weekend, and Ukraine unleashed a massive drone barrage on Russia, ensuring Moscow feels the war is home. Moscow Region Governor Andrei Vorobyov said 2 men were killed by drone debris near Mytishchi, while another woman died after a strike on an apartment block in Khimki. Buildings, cars, and infrastructure were damaged across several Moscow suburbs. But Ukraine says the operation was not aimed at civilians. Kyiv's security service later confirmed that Ukrainian forces had targeted military-industrial facilities, fuel pumping stations, and air defense systems connected to Russia's war effort, including the Moscow oil refinery and the Angstrom microelectronics plant, which manufactures components for Russia's military sector. Zelensky called the operation a proportionate reply.
Our responses to Russia's prolongation of the war and its attacks on our cities and communities are entirely justified. This time, Ukrainian long-range sanctions reached the Moscow region, and we are clearly telling the Russians their state must end its war. The distance from Ukraine's state border is over 500 kilometers. The concentration of Russian air defense in the Moscow region is the highest, but we are overcoming it. Glory to Ukraine.
Russian authorities said 586 drones were intercepted nationwide in 24 hours, as Moscow Mayor Sergei Sobyanin called it one of the largest attacks ever on the capital. Flights were suspended and airports disrupted after explosions echoed across Moscow before dawn. The battlefield is no longer confined to trenches and border towns. The war is reaching apartment blocks outside Moscow, while missile strikes continue tearing through cities across Ukraine, and both sides are now carrying the conflict deeper into each other's territory than ever before. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio has praised Ukraine's military adaptation after more than 4 years of war, calling its armed forces the strongest, most powerful in Europe. Speaking to Fox News host Sean Hannity aboard Air Force One en route to China, Rubio credited Ukraine's transformation to battlefield experience, Western support, and rapid advances in drone and robotics technology. Despite facing a significantly larger adversary, Rubio said Ukraine has sustained its defense through foreign assistance and hard-earned combat experience.
To develop new tactics, new techniques, new equipment, new technology that is creating a sort of hybrid asymmetrical warfare, that's impressive, no doubt about it. I mean, if you look at the Russians are losing 5 times as many soldiers a month as the Ukrainians are. And the Ukraine is a smaller country and a smaller army for that matter. Although the Ukrainian armed forces are the strongest, most powerful armed forces in all of Europe, just to be clear, right now. Obviously because a lot of the assistance they've gotten, but also because of the battlefield experience that they've gained.
On Russian casualties, Rubio put the figures in stark terms, saying Moscow was losing between 15,000 and 20,000 soldiers dead every month, roughly 5 times the rate of Ukrainian losses.
As far as the broader conflict, the president just wants to see the war end. He thinks it's a crazy war. And he's right. I mean, you have people dying in massive numbers on both sides. Ukraine is going to spend 2 decades rebuilding. The damage to the Russian economy is extraordinary. The Russians are losing 15 to 20,000 soldiers a month, dead, not injured, dead. It's a bad war. And we stand prepared. The president stands prepared. His team stands prepared to facilitate a diplomatic end to the war.
Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said Ukraine intercepted 93% of the drones launched during Russia's massive 2-day aerial assault. However, he warned that air defenses still needed strengthening, particularly against ballistic missiles. The Ukrainian president also highlighted that he had assigned specific tasks on radar and equipment procurement, and called for faster cooperation with European partners through what he described as an emerging anti-ballistic coalition.
Рівень нашої ППО та, відповідно, рівень збиття доволі високий. Щодо дронів 93%. Звісно, треба вище, і ми обговорювали сьогодні, які заходи в регіонах можуть цьому сприяти. Я визначив цілком конкретні завдання і по радарах, і по іншому обладнанню. Важливо, щоб будівництво системи нашої протидії шахедам та іншим дронам йшло без пауз. Щодо ракет, завдання складніше, особливо у тому, що стосується антибалістики. Захист від балістичних ракет – це щоденний пріоритет, і українські дипломати повинні демонструвати щоденний результат. щоденний результат у відповідній комунікації з нашими партнерами.
Despite Zelensky's claims of a very high interception rate, Russia's overnight strike on Kyiv killed at least 24 people, including 3 children, with the death toll rising as emergency services continued clearing rubble and searching for people trapped beneath a destroyed residential building in the capital's Darnitsky district. Another 47 people, including 2 children, were wounded in the massive missile and drone attack, which hit Kyiv during a 2-day barrage across Ukraine. Ukraine's Air Force said Russia launched 675 attack drones and 56 missiles, mainly targeting Kyiv. Ukrainian air defense units intercepted 652 drones, a 94% success rate, and 41 missiles, a 73% success rate, during the attack. Zelensky said the attack showed Russia was not behaving like a country seeking peace, adding that it had carried out a virtually non-stop aerial attack over 2 days, using more than 1,500 drones and 56 missiles of various types. So, Rubio just called Ukraine the strongest military in Europe, and Zelensky boasted a 93% interception rate. On paper, it might look like Ukraine is winning. But in Kyiv's Darnitsky district, families are still being pulled from the rubble. The strongest army in Europe is still burying its civilians, and the country with the highest interception rate is still bleeding.